All right, Applied Digital. So essentially, this stock has pulled back from its highs about 40 something, 35% or so, I want to say. So clearly, it was downtrending, and this option expiration of June is gone now. So what I'm watching from here for the next OPEX, which is coming up in July 18th. And then after that, they're going to have earnings report somewhere around July 24th. So here's what I'm watching from now for this stock. So first, we were talking about last time potentially this gap getting filled, which is the gap up between this like 7 and 8. And then at the same time, this 200-day moving average is moving average. This red line on my chart, if you can see it, this is 200-day moving average. So this is the support area I would be watching. And you can see I have pretty much put this gray zone as a gap fill zone. If it wants to come down a little bit more, fill this gap. But today, I think after market hours, a lot of indices, including IWM and including the Applied Digital, everything is up. So, but here's a few things to watch from now on up until that OPEX. So this is a 15 or 10 minute chart of APLD. So we're in a lower time frame now, where this gray line represents on my chart. This is a 5-day moving average. It has been downtrending, okay? And that level is 1067 today. Well, it is 23rd of June. And then the blue line right here, you can see this is a 20-day moving average. So that is at $10.55. So if the stock builds above these levels, sure, I would be watching it to the upside and potential somewhere around this 1250 area. That's the next resistance I would be watching. But so far, this is a resistance as well, 1050, 1070. So I would expect this stock, essentially, we'll take a look at the option activity too, do absolutely nothing up until option expiration of the next month. Meaning, I think this stock will be in the range. I'm showing you guys OPEX to OPEX chart. So what does that mean? This is essentially 1 month's candle of the stock. You can see each candle represents 1 month. So this is from May. This is from April option expiration to May option expiration. This candle from May to June. So you can see May to June, we rallied pretty big actually, 2 OPEXs. But what else happened during that month's OPEX? Significantly higher volume, essentially the highest ever monthly candle as well, 1.75 billion or so shares exchanged hands, okay? What that means? That means that implied volatility, IV, has gone up insanely high. And usually when that happens, I've seen many stocks. It's not only small caps. It's any stock that has an option market out there tends to have a choppy OPEX to OPEX as well, especially after the highest volatile move ever. So this was the last month we had pretty insane range. So essentially last month from 635, stock goes all the way to 1520. That's 140% from that option expiration, and then pulled back at this price where 36% down right now. So, and you can see, you can pay attention to previous option expirations as well. So we haven't closed above 1060 in the last like 3-4 years, and this is acting as a resistance, 1068. So that's the area I would be watching, and I would be watching essentially. It doesn't mean that it's going to be in a tight range. It can be a little bit with a wicks. Essentially, it might go all the way to like 1250. It might come down all the way to 8 or something. But the body of the candle will be somewhere right there. So essentially, it will be, so the last OPEX was $10.27. And I expect this stock finished that month, July 18th, somewhere around in that range. Pretty much killing the call premiums, killing the put premiums. what options are implying into that months? Well, you can see it has a $2.14 expected move into July 18th. And then the following week, July 25th, the week they are going to report earnings, $2.50. So IV has already been crushing as stock was declining, but I think that it can do it more. And if you take a look at the option activity, let's take a look at the flows. I don't know if there was any flows, but put to call ratio in general, like today, let's talk about Monday. It was not crazy. 97,000 calls traded, 55,000 puts traded. And that's not a lot of volume because this stock has relatively cheaper contracts, and there's a bunch of retail. So if you take a look at the biggest amount of contracts that traded, I mean, they're pretty cheap. So there are some $8 puts, $9.50 puts for this week were traded, $12 calls being traded for this week. But these are very, very cheap. So that's why I want to take a look at here. And even though here it's not going to show me much, so there are some calls, $10 calls for this week and then next week expiration. There are some $8 puts. There are some $11 calls for August, but they're not significant. And there's still this $15 in the money puts sitting for next year, essentially January. So that's what's happening with APLD in terms of like short. A lot of people say that this is highly shorted. Yes, it is highly shorted, but it doesn't mean that it has to squeeze. The only time shorts will get squeezed when the price they shorted is significantly higher than they shorted at, because they can keep averaging down too. So yeah, it's not crazy in terms of like daily volume being highly shorted. So 30% of the daily volume, 28%, 30%. That's not a lot actually. The borrowing fee, there are plenty of shares available to borrow. So my expectation from here is for Applied Digital, essentially every rally will be sold off. Anytime it just goes up, it will just be faded, goes up, faded. But again, it needs some sort of a catalyst and large flows, option flows for me to turn bullish on this name, or it needs to get back above 1250 and build above there, and at the same time volume has to go back up. So volume is back at its average. So typical volume, daily volume, 35 million. You guys remember the 4 or 5 days we had, I was saying that this is not going to sustain. Well, those 200 million volume days are gone. Now it's in a premium burning mode in the last 7-8 trading sessions, and you can see it was clearly in a downtrend. So is it going to reverse? Is it enough of a pullback? It's for everybody to decide themselves, because this is not a buy or sell recommendation. This is purely for educational and entertainment purposes only. I don't have any position. I'm not trading this stock. I will have a couple alerts here, 1250, 1550. If it gets back above, sure, I'll take a look. Or if it comes back down to $8, sure, I'll have a look at this one. But until then, until earnings probably, or until OPEX, that's what I'm watching for APLD. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one.